Job interview vocabulary. Job interview vocabulary and practice. Spearhead. Spearhead is similar to the word lead, but it is a much stronger word. If you use spearhead, you are taking much more responsibility and credit for the object. For example, she led the team. Let's use spearhead instead and see how it changes the idea. She spearheaded the team. This means much more than lead, which has the meaning of she is the boss. She spearheaded the team sounds like she created the team, she fought for the team's existence. The team was successful through her passion. It's a much stronger word. And it can be very impactful, much more impactful than lead, which could get the interviewer's attention when used appropriately. Now let's practice using Spearhead in a very interactive way so that you can feel comfortable using it when you are ready. Welcome to the Professor English podcast, where we don't just talk about English, we practice English. My name is Ryan, and I am your host. Today, we are going to practice English by using the verb to spearhead, which means to lead, but it has the extra idea of passion and personal initiative. This is a listening and speaking exercise. So if you want to improve your English listening, your English speaking, and your accuracy, while also improving your vocabulary, in other words, the whole enchilada, you have found the right video. There are no long explanations, just English practice. Practice listening and practice speaking. So, if you are not clear about how to use Spearhead now, don't worry. By the end of the video, it will be very clear. So be sure and watch until the end. Before we begin, I just want to remind you that if you prefer some visual help with this exercise, you can always see the video version on my YouTube channel, Professor English ESL Class. Now, let's dive in and start practicing English. Here is a situation. Lisa was a manager in her previous role. She was a manager. She was a manager in her previous role. She was a manager in her previous role. Let's ask a what do in previous role question. What did? What did she? What did she do? What did she do in her? What did she do in her? What did she do in her previous role? In her previous role. In her previous role. What did she do in her previous role? Here is the answer. She led projects. She led projects. She led projects in her previous role as a manager. She led projects in her previous role. She led projects in her previous role as a manager, as a manager. This sentence is perfectly fine, but if you want to add more energy and power to this statement, to say she didn't only lead, but she created the projects, she argued for the projects, she had passion for the projects, you can use spearhead. She spearheaded projects. She spearheaded projects in her previous role. In her previous role. In her previous role. She spearheaded projects in her previous role. Now it sounds like it wasn't just her job to lead. She wasn't just a manager, but she created the projects. She fought for the projects. She made them happen. She spearheaded projects in her previous role as a manager. She spearheaded projects in her previous role as a manager. All right, fantastic job. Let's try another situation. Mark was in charge of a team. Let's make a what he and his team do question. What did he and his team do? What did he and his team do? And his team. What did he and his team do? What did he and his team do? What did he and his team do? Here is the answer. They led the expansion of the department. They led the expansion of the department. This is fine. This is a fine sentence. But if you want a word with more energy that indicates an extremely active role in every part of the expansion, you can use spearhead. They spearheaded the expansion. They spearheaded the expansion of the department. They fought for it. They came up with the ideas. They invented the ideas. They fought for the ideas. They were very passionate about these ideas. He was in charge of a team. He was in charge of a team. He was in charge of a. He was in charge of a. He was in charge of a team that spearheaded the expansion of the department. He was in charge of a team that spearheaded the expansion of the department. All right, you're doing a super duper job. Let's try another example. But before we do, I just want to remind you that if you find these exercises helpful, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, Professor English ESL Class, so that you won't miss the next lesson. And if you are watching this video on YouTube, please take a moment to press the like button. It helps my channel so much and lets me know that you want to see more fluency and listening comprehension exercises just like this one. Now, let's keep practicing English. Here is another situation. Mary was involved in many extracurricular activities. Oh, extracurricular activities. That means activities outside of your normal school work. So if you're going to school, but then you join a sports team or the debate team or some kind of extra activity, that is known as an extracurricular activity. Mary was involved in many extracurricular activities. Let's make a what kind of extracurricular activities question. What kind of? What kind of extracurricular activities was she? What kind of extracurricular activities was she involved in? What kind of extracurricular activities was she involved in? Here is the answer. She led a fundraising drive. She led a fundraising drive. Lead is a fine word. Sounds like she was very important, but if you want to make it clear that she started this drive, it was her idea and she was involved very actively in its success, you can use spearhead. She spearheaded a fundraising drive. She spearheaded a. She spearheaded a. She spearheaded a fundraising drive. She was involved in many extracurricular activities, including spearheading a fundraising drive. Oh boy, can you say all of that? That's pretty long. A lot of big words. She was involved in many extracurricular activities. She was involved in many extracurricular activities, including spearheading a fundraising drive. She was involved in many extracurricular activities, including spearheading a fundraising drive. All right, you're doing a fantastic job. Let's try one more example. John was a marketing executive in his last position. John was a marketing executive in his last position. In his last position. John was a marketing executive in his last position. Let's make a what do in his last position question. What did he do? What did he do? What did he do in his last position? What did he do in his last position? In his last. What did he do in his last position? What did he do in his last position? Here is the answer. He led a marketing campaign. He led a marketing campaign. He led a marketing campaign. This is fine. The sentence works, but if you want a word with more force and power to get attention, which means he wasn't just the manager, he wasn't just in charge, let's use Spearhead. It was his campaign, his idea. He was the force behind the campaign. Spearhead, he spearheaded a marketing campaign. He spearheaded a marketing campaign. He spearheaded a marketing campaign. He was a marketing executive in his last position, and he spearheaded a marketing campaign. And he spearheaded Andy. Andy spearheaded a. Andy spearheaded a. And he spearheaded a marketing campaign. He was a marketing executive in his last position. He was a marketing executive in his last position, and he spearheaded a marketing campaign. All right, you did an amazing job today, and you learned some fantastic English. Congratulations! I knew you could do it. Remember, practice makes perfect, so you should repeat this exercise several times, not just so that you can remember how to use the verb spearhead, but also to improve your listening skills and your speaking skills. It's been really fun practicing English with you today, and I hope to see you here again real soon. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the like button. See you in the next video with more interesting words and phrases.